Talking about business news for today. We'll also talk about CBN increasing interest rate as it has said that the CBN will now sell a record 1 trillion naira in Wednesday's Treasury bill auction. We're telling you this more and giving you, telling you what it means in layman language.
All right, still on the headlines, business headlines, we have Naira maintaining gains on CBN's FX policies. We also have Nigeria struggling to close 7 million metering gap. This is in energy. We also have another headline here talking about Cardoso blaming foreign education and healthcare on Naira slide. We have a couple of other headlines as well. IOCs withhold fresh investments over $1.3 billion debt, and the Naira weakens at the official market, and banks are selling $584 million. Just what that would look like, you get to see in a moment. But before that, let's check out the business quote of the day.
Here is our business quote for the day.
That will be something very important. It says, never give up. Today is hard and tomorrow might be worse, but the day after tomorrow just might be sunshine. So never give up. Today is hard and tomorrow will be worse, but the day after tomorrow could be sunshine. This is according to Jack Ma, is the founder of Alibaba Group. He says, never give up. Today is hard, tomorrow will be harder, it will be worse, but the day after tomorrow will be sunshine.
Okay, basically what it means is there will be light at the end of the tunnel. Not minding how your business is panning out, not minding how you feel right now. Just keep pushing, keep the consistency going, and definitely, something might actually happen for you in your business, basically.
All right, we'll jump on the headline this morning. This one here says, Naira maintains gains on CBN's Forex policies. Naira maintains gains on CBN's Forex policies. The foreign exchange markets traded calmly on Monday as the Naira maintained gains following recent policy measures introduced by the CBN. After trading on Monday, the Naira appreciated by 1.1% as the dollar was quoted at 1,419 Naira, stronger than 1,435.53 Naira quoted on Friday at the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market, NAFEM, according to the data obtained from the FMDQ. Now, the local currency gained 3 times at the official market since the CBN commenced a series of foreign exchange policy adjustments last week. Now, if you recall that Nigeria's currency had appreciated further when we saw the foreign exchange market recording an increase in dollar supply at the official market. Dollar liquidity remained unchanged as the daily FX market turnover stood at $440.13 million on Monday, the same as of Friday. Let's look at the intraday high and the intraday low. The intraday high was steadied at 1,526 naira to a dollar, while the intraday low was 906 naira to a dollar from 838 naira to a dollar that it was last week. The naira has also appreciated at the parallel market, that's known as the black market, pretty much. It gained about 0.1% as the dollar traded at the black market at 1,438 naira as against 1,440 naira on Friday. Looking at this in an interview, Olayemi Cardoso, he had unveiled a series of insights, policy directions, different policies that were aimed at tackling the different challenges that the country's FX market is currently facing. And he acknowledged that there was a liquidity shortage, there was the market volatility, and he also outlined the CBN's commitment to enhancing transparency, liquidity and market vibrancy through these different policy reforms that he's going to ensure. He emphasized that he would embrace market liberalization and aim to attract foreign portfolio investments and foreign direct investments as well.
Okay, still talking about the depreciation and the fall of the naira. Still, a financial expert by the name Dr. Benga Adeoye has now blamed this on corruption in the country. According to him, a dollar was sold for about 1,440 at the parallel market on Tuesday, and he actually linked the underdevelopment of Nigeria and Africa as whole to what they call kakistocracy, which he defined as government by the worst persons, or a form of government in which the worst persons are in power. And according to Adeoye, insisted that until we begin to have men and women of brains with proven integrity, honesty and respect for the rule of law, the positive turnaround we so much expect in our affairs, in our nation and the African continent will remain a mirage to us. And according to him, he said it's about time our leaders start building Africa, and corruption ought to stop. When corruption stops, we'll actually see, partly in a way, the naira gain over the dollar. So this is what this financial expert by the name Benga Adeoye has said about the free fall of the naira we're experiencing at the moment. And still talking about the free fall of the naira, aside corruption being blamed, now the CBN governor, talking about Cardoso, has now blamed foreign education, healthcare for naira depreciation and slide. And according to the CBN governor, Olayemi Cardoso, he has actually said that the depreciation of the naira and the growing numbers of Nigerians going abroad for education and medical treatment is the reason why the naira is falling freely. We know that Cardoso actually met with the plenary, that's House of Reps, yesterday, and when he appeared at the lower chamber, they called him in to answer to the current depreciation of the naira and what Nigerians or the CBN is doing to ensure we see an appreciation of the value of the currency. He actually said that this is because there's a decline in the supply of US dollars, and this is because of the number of Nigerian students studying abroad. The number is growing almost on a weekly and monthly basis. And according to him, he said back in the 80s and in the 90s, the need for US dollar for their living expenses was minimal. We did not have more people leaving the shores of the country for health tourism or going to seek better healthcare abroad. We do not have Nigerians going abroad for for education. Rather, we had other people, the likes of Ghana, other people coming into Nigeria, and of course helping the Nigerian currency to gain over the dollar. But right now, we've seen it has gotten worse. The number of students leaving the country almost on a weekly basis is alarming, so we might actually continually see the depreciation of the naira. This is what Cardoso have actually said to the House of Reps yesterday.
All right, still talking about we're moving on to energy now. The NCC is urging, pardon me, not energy, just on business news, NCC is urging states and others to cut telecom taxes. NCC is urging states and others to cut telecom taxes. Now, the NCC Communications, Nigerian Communication Commission, yesterday appealed to states and local government councils across the country to cut taxes imposed on telecoms companies, saying excessive taxation would be counterproductive to the growth of the industry. The Executive Vice Chairman, Dr. Aminu Wada Maida, lamented that with between 50 to 55% taxes already imposed on telecoms operators, it would be difficult to attract foreign investments into the sector, in line with President Bola's directive to the NCC. According to Dr. Maida, the NCC management has decided to embark on nationwide advocacy to appeal to states and local governments as well as other stakeholders on the need to reduce levies they imposed, especially the right-of-way charges and other multiple charges. I know, when it comes to taxes, we have such a confusing taxation system where there are duplicates of taxes. There are situations where they are excessively taxed. I think Man came out to talk about over 90 something taxes that they were being paid, that they had to pay the federal government, and with that we're still not making the monies. We're still not seeing the remuneration in revenue generation. We're still not seeing that with the FIRS and the FCTIRS and all that. So hoping that they can reduce the number of taxes and just impose on some such a bad situation with our internet.
Very
in last week. I think last week there were so many downtimes cut across all the telecoms companies that we have in Nigeria, and you begin to wonder, what's the ease of doing businesses with them as telecoms companies? What's the ease of doing business? How exactly are they making their monies in such a hectic weather such as this? You know that you need to carry out maintenances on your infrastructure. You need to do a lot to ensure that you're consistently giving Nigerians what they are paying for.
Okay, I think I'll actually be the devil's advocate here, considering the taxation on telcos. The truth is, we know that a lot of Nigerians have actually said it's about time the federal government looks inward in generating revenue. And the truth is, the federal government has nothing to sell. They are not selling anything tangible that you say, oh, they are trading this, and they are going to make money off this particular trade. Bulk of the way, aside oil, that we know that we're exporting oil, and of course use crude, I beg your pardon, and making money out of it. For us to generate monies internally and revenue for the federal government, and of course that will actually help us finance some part of our budget, going forward, there has to be taxation. And we all know that the administration of President Bola Tinubu came in and said, yes, they are going to do all they can to generate monies, internally. Mm-hmm. We understand the effect of the taxation on the telecommunication companies. It's a lot on them. When they tell you the amount of taxes they have to pay, you get to ask yourself, how do they thrive? How do they survive at the end of the day? But this is just a measure by the federal government to ensure that at least to an extent Nigeria is sustainable. Even at this moment, we are not even sustainable. We literally have to borrow to fund our budget. But that being said, these are just immediate pains that some companies have to face. Until our economy gets stabilized, maybe we can see the federal government start cutting down on some taxes, especially as it has to do with telecommunication companies. And talking about tax, we know that a lot of people are evading tax. And according to a report from the Capital Market, the Committee on Capital Markets, Osita Izunazo, I beg your pardon, has said that the Senate will review legislative frameworks awaiting amendment in the National Assembly to boost more listings as well as curb tax evasion. Izu, who stated this when he led the delegation's visit to the Nigerian Exchange Group on Tuesday, reaffirmed the Senate commitment to driving legislative reforms aimed at propelling the Nigerian capital market to greater heights. And he highlighted the crucial role of the capital market in fostering economic prosperity and also urged stakeholders to unite in pursuit of common goals. And looking at the capital market, a lot of emphasis have been placed on the importance of public enlightenment on stock market investment benefits. Izu actually even underscored the role of legislative interventions in encouraging companies to list on the exchange, basically because when they list on the exchange, revenues are also being generated, and there have been there have been moves to collaborate between the government as well as regulatory bodies to ensure that development is fostered in the country through the exchange right now. So it's a good one. It's a great move from the legislators seeking to review certain frameworks basically to boost listing, so we get to see more people list on the Nigerian exchange market.
All right, we're moving on to another headline this morning. IOCs withhold fresh investment over 1.3 billion debt. IOCs withhold fresh investments over $1.3 billion debt. The federal government is now implementing measures to significantly reduce the cost of liquefied petroleum gas known as cooking gas. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Ekberigbe Ekbo, announced on Tuesday. He said that he disclosed this in a stakeholders consultative meeting and that had international and indigenous oil companies, major and independent oil marketers, LPG dealers, regulators, and many other players in attendance at that event. Now, this came as gas producers told newsmen on the sidelines of the event that the total gas debt to gas producing firms was now $1.3 billion, as this was negatively impacting on investment in the sector. In his address during the meeting, Ekbo said he told his audience that the federal government had decided to focus on three priority areas to ensure sustainable development in the country's gas sector. He said Part of this, according to the minister, includes the implementation of measures that would cut down cooking gas price significantly. He talks about intensifying efforts to increase the upstream gas production, that's to breach the significant gas supply gaps which continue to hamper our strategic economic sectors. That's the gas to power and gas-based industries, as well as gas for exports. And he said that it was imperative that we work together to unlock more resources to provide gas for power, gas-based industries, LNG exports, domestic use, fostering economic growth, and so many other advantages, which is the cardinal objective of the President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. Just how that would play out is left to be seen. But having $1.3 billion owed to IOCs is absolutely crazy. If we decide to count, if we decide to put the total, our debt profile in total, in actuality, because sometimes we know that some of these figures are sometimes moved on, they are sometimes touched. But if we decide to count every single debt Nigeria is owing the federal government, whether the federal government or the state government or whoever is owing these individuals, whether international organizations, countries, or different organizations, whether it's the CBN, whoever, when we decide to put all these monies together, our debt profile,
it's really alarming and something not to be done, especially as regards our debt profile in the country. And it's a good one that the minister, State Ekwerikwe have actually mentioned that they're doing all they can to cut the cost of LNG so Nigerians can actually afford it. But we just hope that some have actually said, are they considering subsidizing this petroleum product for Nigeria? Because we don't want to hear subsidy again. If you're going to subsidize with your food chest. If you don't want to subsidize, remove it, so that at the end of the day we don't hear stories that these gases are being subsidized and the subsidy is being eaten by a cabal. That is what we don't really want to hear. And away from that, let's talk about what the World Bank has projected, especially for some states in Nigeria when it comes to food production, the business of food production. And according to reports, the World Bank has stated in its latest food security report project that 7 states across the northwest and the northeast to be at crisis food security level in 2024 because of insecurity and armed conflicts, reducing the standard of living across this particular region. And the states where the CBN are projected serious food crisis in 2024 are states in the northern region, the likes of Borno, Adamawa, Kaduna, Katsina, Yobe, Sokoto, as well as Zamfara State. And beyond Nigeria, the World Bank has also reported that some other country within the West African region, such as Burkina Faso, Chad, and Niger, will experience different levels of food insecurity. And looking at that as well, looking at low-income countries, the World Bank has also projected that some countries will see increased inflation that will be sometimes over 63.2% in low-income countries, of which Nigeria is part of at the moment. So looking at the projections of the World Bank, sometimes you get to wonder how the metrics or the yardstick the CBN the World Bank uses, I beg your pardon, to come up with some of these figures. We've seen the World Bank always projecting disaster for Africa. And it's about time the World Bank look internally and face what they are supposed to do. And also, we know that these figures or these reports about projections by the World Bank actually help countries plan better and to ensure that they don't find themselves in more trouble. But sometimes this World Bank should stop projecting this doom for African nations, especially for Nigeria and the northern region.
Simeon, whether we like it or not, they're going to make projections. That's their job. It's part of it, right? They're going to make projections about where we're going to be in terms of economics, right? Economically, where the country would be projected 2 years or 3 years down the line. We have all those projections. But the point is, if we are doing well, the numbers will not lie.
Oh, I
The
understand.
numbers will never ever lie. If we're doing well based on, and sometimes when they do these, when they have these comments and projections about the countries, they would have looked at your figures in the past year, and they would have looked at your policies, the kinds of policies that you're putting in place to ensure that maybe you grow. So they would check all those indices and then come out with whatever it is that they have to say to whatever country. But the point is, the numbers will not lie.
I understand. Truly, the numbers will not lie, but sometimes, these projections by the World Bank, they are not always right. At the end of the day, we need to also put that out. And it's necessary that whatever projection they made, whatever figures they put out, the Nigerian government work around those figures and ensure that we don't find ourselves, on the side receiving end of the projections of the World Bank. And away from that, let's move on and talk about some more reports. And this one still has to do with the Minister of Mining. Should I actually say congratulations to Alake right now? Talking about business of mining, we've seen the Minister of Solid Mineral Development, Dele Alake, who has now emerged as the chairman of the mining pressure group known as the Africa Mineral Strategy Group. And this was disclosed in a statement signed by the Special Assistant on Media to the Minister, Segun Tomori, on Tuesday in Abuja. And the event, which was held on the sidelines of the 30th edition of Investing in Africa Indaba at Cape Town in South Africa. It was attended by Ministers of Minerals Development of Uganda, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Sierra Leone, Somalia, South Sudan, Chad, Botswana, Zambia, as well as Namibia, with more than 15 countries pledging support to this particular group. So we've seen Dele Alake, who has now emerged right now as the chairman of this group, made up of ministers of mineral development across several countries within the African region. So should I say congratulations are in order for Dele Alake. But aside beyond receiving being the chair of this particular group, we as Nigerians want to see our mining sector being revamped, especially knowing that Nigeria is blessed with so much mineral resources in the country. It is quite worrisome that we've seen illegal mining happening across several regions. It was just recently in Oyo State, where we saw the explosion that rocked that region, killing over 6 persons. And right now, investigation is still on, led by the governor of the state, Seyi Makinde. So when we see illegal miners carrying out activities, we get to ask ourselves, what is the Minister of Solid Mineral, Dele Alake, doing to curb this? Because when we talk about the monies lost to illegal mining in the country, it is in billions of dollars. I remember it was in 2017 that the federal government estimated that the country loses about $9 billion annually to illegal mining. And if you do your calculation in one full term, the amount of money lost to illegal mining is about $36 billion. This is huge money. This is monies that could actually make huge impact on the country being lost to mining. So beyond being the chair, it is necessary that Dele Alake does more in harnessing the mineral resources in the country, whether it's lithium, whether it's lime, whether it's zinc, whether it's gold, or whether it's even other solid minerals. We need to do all we can to ensure that we cut the fundings to illegal miners, and more of these revenues go to the federal government coffers to the benefit of Nigerians.
Well, when it comes to illegal mining at this point in time, there's so many people to be fingered in this discourse. You have you have some Nigerians who are behind some of the companies. You have foreign nationals who come into the country and do some unscrupulous things. You also have residents of that particular area who see these individuals carrying out activities and do not report. Do not say, okay, this particular company, I saw them in my area. I do not know if they have the license to do this or do that. So I don't know if it's lack of knowledge of what the laws say, or it's just a blatant disregard of it that is causing some of these illegal mining operations to continue to soar, or it's greed, whatever the case may be. Do you think you are to blame if you allow that happen in your area? who else is to blame? Will you call Edele Alake, who doesn't even know one small village somewhere that they are digging whatever it is, like they're mining? He doesn't know that place. He can't. It's not his job. It is his job to know of all the areas, but he can't know of all the areas if people who are, directly or indirectly affected by this illegal mining do not come out and raise concern.
Let me ask you this quickly. Do you know what have you seen a mining site before? If you've seen a mining site, you know that it's not something that you just close one part of your house or you build. Not that. If you see a typical mining site where they are mining gold or they are mining lithium and all of that, it's large. It's not something that
can be hidden.
That just can be hidden. So if we as Nigeria, we have actually, we can harness digital technology. Satellite visions can actually tell us and show us certain areas where certain mineral resources are and what is happening within those particular region. And of course, if you see activities within a particular region based on satellite mappings, you know that, oh, this one is not approved. You send your men there. It is not rocket science for them to achieve this. Wasn't it last year that we heard reports that about 13 Chinese nationals were arrested for illegal mining? Imagine Chinese individuals coming into the country and taking our resources through the back door out of the country. Not just Chinese nationals, other nationals will also be fingered for this. And you want to tell me that some persons in government are not aware? And remember, some individuals, especially security experts, have actually said some areas within the northern region that is bedeviled with insurgency and banditry. These people are making that place a hotbed for citizens because there are things they are mining, and some of these bandits are serving as a shield for those doing their illegal activities. And you want to tell me that some individuals within the structures of the government are not aware of this?
I mean, to back it up, Dele Alake, he made a statement last year talking about the fact that powerful Nigerians are behind the illegal mining in the country. And you can see that some of the monies that have been made off of the illegal mining, go into banditry, terrorism, and insecurity. Because he said that one pernicious discovery that we have made is that a lot of these banditry, terrorism, and insecurity that we associate with this sector are actually sponsored by illegal miners. These are not your artisanal miners, they are Nigerians. They are heavy and powerful individuals of our country. Yes, you can see foreigners as the symptoms, but they are not the disease. Nigerians are the powers behind those foreigners that you see on the streets. We're identifying them and employing various strategies, both kinetic and non-kinetic. Since the statement was made, however, this was on December 12th, Mr. Dele Alake, how many people have you finally identified? It's not enough to be saying, oh, we're identifying, oh, we're doing this, oh, we're doing that. What has been done? Progressive report. I mean, with I don't know how it works with governance. It's always baffling to see how government runs the everyday business, right? With every company out there, what you do is you give progress reports. You give progress reports. Okay, this thing we said we were going to do, this is how far we've come. What are the challenges? So we know that we change our approach to that particular thing. When I was doing my service in a construction company, every week you must give a progress report, how far you've gone with, okay, this particular bridge that we're building, we had so meters as of 2 weeks ago. Now we have so meters. What happened that we were not able to achieve this? Oh, rains fell, this thing happened, we had some issues with the workers. They give a detailed reports because monies are involved, lives are involved, so you take it seriously. If it's not lack of political will, if it's not greed, if it's not one thing or the other influencing these stalling of these investigations, I don't know what else Nigerians can do. But we're calling on the minister to ensure that these individuals are rooted out, because it's not just monies that they're taking out of Nigerians, it's his lives that they're
people are losing their life because of illegal mining happening within certain regions, because some of these people are being guarded. You want to tell me those who stay in the far north, they will tell you certain things that's happening within those regions that some politicians are aware. Does the federal government want to tell me that those areas, remember at the end of the day, at the State House of Assembly level, we have people representing certain constituencies at the State House, not to even talk about at the national level, at the Senate. Do you want to tell me that they don't know what's happening within their constituencies or in their local governments? let it make sense now. We know they know what they are doing. And it's time the federal government fish out these individuals within their structure of government and outside government and address this holistically. And finally, quickly, let's quickly touch on this before we talk about the metering gap. We've seen, according to reports by, the Poultry Owners Association of Nigeria, they've actually mentioned that so far the poultry industry have lost 3 trillion naira in 2023. So the poultry farmers incurred over 3 trillion naira losses in 2023. This is according to the chairman of the Lagos chapter of the Poultry Association of Nigeria. They revealed this in an interview, and according to them, they attributed the losses to the persistent economic challenges that gripped the country, as well as the unfavorable economic condition that has forced a significant number of poultry farmers to exit the industry. We don't know that this is trying time for business owners, whether it's poultry business, whether it's manufacturing business. This is a difficult time for these individuals, and it's not shocking that we are seeing this report that poultry association owners are now shutting down businesses, and they've actually lost over 3 trillion naira just within the frame of 1 year. Eggs skyrocket, I beg your pardon, in a couple of days now.
3,500, between 4,000 and 3,500 is a crate of egg. Well, this particular situation is one that is a cause for concern, because apart from the Poultry Owners Association of Nigeria, you also have bakers who are adversely affected by this as well. They use eggs for whatever it is, whatever pastry they're trying to make. You must definitely find eggs in that. So inadvertently, we're going to see a rise in the cost of bread, a rise in the cost of everyday pastries that have one or two things to do with eggs. It's a cause for concern at this point.
Sadly.
3,500, Simeon. That's not small money.
I
remember when I was doing my youth service in Ibadan, eggs, a crate of egg was going for 900. That's 900, if it's big. True, if it's small, it's 700. If the eggs are small, it's 700. I remember at the junction in Challenge, there's a lady there that used to sell very big eggs, 900 naira. 900 naira. I know in Abuja at the time it was about 1,200 thereabout, but 900 naira, 700 naira. Right now, what we're having, 3,500 to 4,000 naira.
Really
the increase is exponential. It's actually exponential. Anyway, taking this last story before we call it a wrap on business today. Nigeria struggles to close 7 million metering gap. This is in electricity energy. Nigeria has battled perennial shortage in electricity supply, bringing millions of its consumers under a more accountable, transparent metering system, and it has remained even a more Herculean task over the years. The government and the power discos have also continued to complain of revenue shortfalls in the sector. There's a metering gap standing at over 7. Has shown that out of the total of 12,825,005 registered electricity customers, only 5,707,838 have meters. This is looking at over 7.1 million registered customers who are still subjected to the estimated billing. And Simeon, that estimated billing, for some reason, there seems to be a problem